had a number of conversations over the lunch break that brought to the surface a question about what is it amongst most of the projects that we see that is the largest issues, i.e. what are the problems that are stopping these projects and not allowing them to move forward. And the first that we would say is that many of these projects that we've encountered and do encounter on a daily basis do not consider the following three areas: strategy, the projects themselves, and the people. So how this manifests is we'll often see companies coming to ours saying, hey, look, we want to roll out a new widget, a new system, a new CRM, a new something. And the first question we have to ask, based on many of our previous failures, is what is the overarching strategy or design? What is it that has drawn you to ask us to do this project, and what need is it filling? And the answer is generally a pretty vacant stare, and they haven't actually developed a strategy for the business yet. So they don't actually have a mechanism to underpin these projects as a subordinate effort under those strategies or design. So the first one we'd say is, have you got a strategy? Is it clear? And does it explain the how and the why for the people in the organisation, for them to do their efforts in order to achieve the overall goal? Or are we doing this to make ourselves feel busy and look like we're doing things? Because that's often what's happening. Or we've seen our competitors do something and we think that that's what we need to do as well. And I'd put it to you, if you're just doing what your competitors are doing, you're probably 3 steps behind anyway. And there's no assurance that their strategy or their project is the right thing anyway either. So strategy and projects. If there's a miss there, you won't see the 8th mile supporting it. We don't do projects that don't have an overarching strategy or design. We've been burned too many times before in previous careers. The next is the relationships between strategy and people.
Yeah, so when we've formulated our strategy, what we find that those organisations that have thought about their strategy and they've looked into ways that they can implement their strategy, haven't actually considered the needs of their people, who at the end of the day are going to end up implementing their new system or implementing the strategy at the grassroots. They haven't actually worked to gain organisational buy-in from those people. So they haven't done they haven't looked at work groups, they haven't looked at asking, what is it you think this company needs to do? I mean, they're at the coalface. If we're looking at sales, they're the ones on the front line dealing with their clients. If we're looking at hospitals, they're the ones at the front line dealing with the patients. If we're looking at systems and tech, they're the ones that are fixing it when it breaks. All right, so when we talk about implementing new strategies, or at least even in the strategy design, have we asked our people what they think? For the specific point that you don't need to take their suggestions. But the fact that you've asked demonstrates that you've at least taken it into account. And then what you end up doing is you end up taking, because they might have looked at it from a completely different perspective that you have. They might have seen a gap or an opportunity that you haven't seen. Right? They might have seen an obstacle that you haven't seen. And they may provide you that one perspective or that one bit of information that changes the game in your strategy. And if you can take that and if you can harness their idea and incorporate it into this bad boy or into the project, then all of a sudden you've got buy-in. All right? And you've got someone that's willing to take it down to the grassroots and implement on your behalf. So you then don't have to influence as many people.
The final relationship that we see a breakdown in quite regularly is the people and their relationships with the projects themselves. Simply put, organisations try and undertake very large scale or even medium scale projects, and they haven't actually resourced their own staff in order to be able to do it. So then the logical thing is they lean into consulting, they pay a large amount of money for people to do it for them. But those people aren't interlinked with the people in the organisation. So if you're going to do these large scale projects, you need a project team working with the best interests of the team at the organisational level, who have a good understanding of the strategy, and then they link with the consultants and the external resources in order to achieve the effect. And what we normally see, and we've been part of this on both sides of the fence, is where we have under-resourced project teams. And then we put on that very high expectations for delivery with our time, cost, quality, not linked to a strategy, and this poor team just gets absolutely beasted and they're never going to achieve the goal. It was an unwinnable task before it even started. So I say to you these three things. And normally where one of them has failed, the whole thing fails. It unravels very, very quickly. Can anyone in this room relate to what we've seen? Has anyone seen this in first hand? Ben, did you want to share?
I think it relates very much to the prior conversation you had, but you've leaned out basically the whole outcome there into 3 points. Realistically, they're completely synergetic. There's no separation of any of them.
Yep.
And you've got arrows in both directions, which is good because it's a bi-directional understanding. You need to have the strategy is only an ability to implement a project, and the people who do it are required for it. It just doesn't work any other way.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's you've hit the nail on the head, and it doesn't. You can put different sorts of things in different places, but it all works the same.
There's a very popular saying, from our previous culture that wishful thinking doesn't win wars. You can hope this problem will go away all you want, but if you're going to commit to this, you actually need to make sure that you've resourced your people. They know why they're doing something, and moreover, they know how to align to what the overarching intent is. And 90% of the time, it's this bad boy that goes missing. Organisations are moving so fast these days, they don't actually know why they're moving or what direction they're heading. And then that flows into frustrations with our people, and then our projects fail because they never had meaning anyway. That's hopefully answers a couple of the questions that came up over lunch, but we thought it remiss to mention it. Thank you very much.